Hey, how's it going guys? Sick here, back with a video on Marvel Contest Champions, and today we have another one of my 3-minute champion guides. Today's video is on the newly added Brazilian fireball, Sunspot. Sunspot at the time of this video is 7th on the prestige chart with a prestige of 10,632 as a 565 5-star champion. He has a crit rating of 21.7%, 172.6% crit damage rating, a 6.5% armor rating, and a block proficiency of 62.2%. He's tagged as an X-Man, X-Force, and New Avenger, and size medium. Now, when Sunspot was added to the game, he was severely underhyped as soon as people found out that he wasn't the crazy Incinerate champ that they were still hoping for after the Human Torch disappointment. He isn't an insane damage over time champion, but he still has some bloody nutty damage once he's built up a bit. Now, how Sunspot gets this insane damage is with his Flare State charges. Each Flare State increases Sunspot's damage up to a max of 10 charges. Now, how Sunspot gets these charges is with his SP1. However, you can't just spam the SP1 over and over without consequences, because Flare States can only stay active while Sunspot has solar charges. Sunspot starts every fight with 80 solar charges, which if he is awakened can be increased to 120 when at max signature level. Now, each time Sunspot strikes the opponent when he has a Flare State active, he will inflict an Incinerate debuff depending on the amount of Flare States. So for example, 2 Incinerates with 2 Flare States, 3 Incinerates with 3 Flare States, etc. Each time an Incinerate is inflicted on the opponent, that amount of solar charges will be removed from Sunspot, meaning you have to be careful on how many Incinerates you inflict or your solar charges will go to 0 and your Flare States will be removed. Sunspot can gain back his solar charges in 2 different ways, so you can continue doing the cycle of SP1 to gain the Flare States without losing all of your solar charges. He's immune to Incinerate, and so each time he would be inflicted with Incinerate, he instead gains 5 solar charges. But the main way you gain the charges back is with the SP3, which resets his solar charges to 80 or 120 if max signature level. This balance between gaining Flare States with the SP1 and resetting the solar charges with the SP3 is how you build up and maintain Sunspot's insane damage. Now at this point you're probably wondering, well sick, how do I gain enough power to keep cycling those special attacks before the solar charges and Flare States are removed? While charging Sunspot's heavy attack, he purifies an Incinerate off the opponent every 0.18 seconds. Now for every Incinerate he purifies, Sunspot gains 10% of a bar of power, or 3.3% of his overall power. This power gain means that Sunspot can fire off a crazy amount of special attacks in a low amount of hits, making it much easier to build up his Flare States. By parrying and charging the heavy attack to make the most of the stun timer, you can consistently gain power over and over again. The power gain increasing more and more depending on the amount of Flare States because of the crazy amount of Incinerates being inflicted and then removed. With this careful balancing of Flare States and solar charges, I would also recommend that you know your basic times tables, as you're going to need to do some quick maths to figure out how many hits you can do before you're out of solar charges. Now once you know how to build up the damage potential and the Flare States, you need to know how to use them. Sunspot Special 2 is where the ridiculous damage comes in from one big burst. For each stack of Flare State, up to a max of 10, Sunspot gains a prowess buff, increasing his special attack damage by 200%, meaning at the max of 10 Flare States, he has a 2000% increased damage. This attack can expend up to 25 solar charges however, so it will often mean that your solar charges will be reduced to 0 and you will lose all your Flare States. At a high level, however, meaning 455 5-star or above, the opponent will be dead at this point, so very little consequences. If the opponent is not dead at that point, you will have to build back up to the SP3 to gain the solar charges back and start the damage build-up cycle again. Another fun little semi-useful ability that Sunspot has is that if he perfect blocks or parries the opponent, then all hits after that will be perfect blocks as well. This means that you can parry the first hit of special attacks to avoid all the block damage, or also on stun immune fights it means you'll be able to avoid the damage from blocking combos. Sunspot synergies also give him a nice little bonus and are the first synergies in the game to be affected by the champion's signature ability level. Because I only have the 3-star version, I don't have all of the synergies unlocked, so these details are courtesy of the Aunt May MCSC website. With Red Hulk and MODOK, Science Champions have increased duration and ability accuracy of any exhaustion, fatigue, heal block, petrify, slow, and weakness debuffs. With Mephisto and Hela, all champions gain increased crit rating. With Magic, Beast, Cyclops, Red Team, and Colossus, all champions gain armor rating. With Captain America and Iron Man, any Avengers or New Avengers reduce villains' power sting and damage over time effects. With Cable and Warlock, Mutant Champion's ability accuracy is increased during special attacks, and then also from Warlock's synergy tree, Sunspot gains a 25% increased duration of Incinerates. Okay, I think that's going to do it. I'm pretty sure I've covered everything, but if you have any questions or anything I've missed out, then leave it in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed this video and learned something new about Sunspot. If you liked it, then be sure to like, subscribe, and comment about which champion I'd like to see in the next 3-minute champion breakdown. Thanks for watching, and see ya!